Al Jazeera Podcasts.
Today, how deepfake technology is influencing the world's largest election.
They're causing all kinds of chaos. AI is being used to spread fake news, resurrect dead politicians, and even fabricate endorsements.
The budget for AI-generated content is booming. Could India's election be a blueprint for others around the world? I'm Malika Bilal, and this is The Take. The endorsement comes from a man in an office chair, in what seems to be a temple. In this video, he's dressed in a crisp white shirt with a yellow scarf draped around his neck, complete with large, dark sunglasses. The man is M. Karunanidhi, the former leader of the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. He's speaking in a video that came out earlier this year, and he's endorsing his son, the state's current leader, for re-election.
When the COVID pandemic ravaged the world, our chief minister ran in the direction of panicked voices of people.
The only problem? Karunanidhi died in 2018. The video is a deep fake generated through artificial intelligence. This is one of the year's first examples of AI in this general election. Indian political parties are estimated to spend more than $50 million on it this year. And there have been lots of examples of how it's playing out.
There's voice clones, there's AI images, AI propaganda songs, and we have also seen personalized messages that utter the name of individuals. I'm Nilesh Christopher, a technology journalist based in Bangalore, and I've been covering the intersection of politics and tech for the past 5 years.
So Nilesh, it's good to have you on The Take. We are a little more than halfway through India's general election, the world's largest. And throughout it, you have been reporting on AI and how it's being used. Can you give me some examples? What have you seen?
For sure. It's been a wide spectrum of use cases of AI that we have witnessed so far. On the one hand, we've seen realistic AI-generated images come up that tend to build a strategic narrative around a specific leader. And then you have AI voice clones of politicians saying things they did not that is being shared.
என் அன்பிற்கும் பாசத்திற்கும் உரிய எனதருமை கன்னியாகுமரி சொந்தங்களே.
नमस्कार शारिक जी, नमस्कार मानस जी, नमस्कार ओमकार जी.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनेगी.
So it's been a wide spectrum of use cases. The most interesting of which that we reported on is the use of AI-generated images that showcase Prime Minister Modi in a certain light that speaks to his base of voters. So for Al Jazeera, I wrote a story about how Instagram, in the lead up to the Indian elections, boosted about 50 AI-generated images of Modi, which reached like millions and millions of views. And one of the images showcases Modi as Bhishma. He's a warrior from the Hindu epic Mahabharata. And if you look at the image, he's wearing an armor. There is a sun-shaped mark on his forehead, his long wavy white hair, and he's just staring into the abyss. It effectively showcases what the voter sees in Modi, who is a reincarnation of a warrior who will fight and defend his people against foreign threats. You have several more images such as that. My favorite, Malika, is the saffron superhero. So you have this very realistic looking image of a saffron colored flag with the symbol Om. It's a Hindu spiritual symbol, and the color saffron is associated mostly with Hinduism. And right beneath that, Modi is wearing a saffron colored cape, and he's walking right beside a river, staring into the sun. So all these images effectively help you position the Prime Minister in a certain light, who the supporters of the BJP and the Hindu Nationalist Party love seeing him.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the saffron superhero, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been prime minister for 10 years. He's going for a third term in this election. And we've covered in the past how many feel that the country has changed during his time in power.
Several international rights groups have documented the rise in hate speech and violence against minorities since the BJP came to power in 2014.
A lot of that has to do with the Hindu nationalist agenda that he and his party have been implementing at the expense, many feel, of minorities in the country. So does that come up at all in any of these AI renderings?
The use of AI tools and AI images has been used to boost the already Hindu nationalist presence and image of Mr. Modi. And many of the captions to these images are also really interesting. They explicitly state that he is the leader of Hindu Renaissance, or the saffron superhero, the one who is going to bring Sanatana Dharma back. And it's sort of a civilizational leader. And AI tools are effectively helping reimagine what this sort of civilizational leader will look like. And it's being shared in social media and garnering millions and millions of views. Some of the experts who we showed these photographs to pointed out that while there is no overt misuse or in the way in which Modi is portrayed in these images, as the leader of a secular country with almost 300 million Muslims are also part of the social fabric of this country, portraying the prime minister in a certain light that showcases him as a Hindu leader might be problematic at an ethical level. When we reached out to Instagram, they said that the creators of many of these videos simply put out these images and declared the use of AI through hashtags. They put hashtag AI art, hashtag Midjourney. We asked Instagram if these were sufficient disclosures, because if you find these images in the wild, it would come across that these are real images. So Instagram told us these were not sufficient disclosures, but they stopped short because they didn't tell us what more could be done to disclose the use of AI and AI images in the political context.
That's so interesting. I know personally, my eyes glaze over the hashtags. I don't actually read them. So the fact that the disclosure is coming with a hashtag seems like it's asking a lot of the viewer. Do you think that that's enough?
It depends upon the context where I view the image. On Instagram, when I look at the post by the original creator, you can discern it's kind of fake because the creator has his bio as the Hindu AI artist. But you move one step forward and you find this image on WhatsApp or on other platforms or other closed platforms, you tend to immediately sort of believe that it's real or want to believe if you support a certain party and your confirmation bias kicks in. So it is a really interesting problem where the AI tools are being used for myth-making and strategic narrative building in politics.
Wow. So is Modi's BJP benefiting from this the most, or are political parties across the board using it equally?
That's been the interesting part. It's political parties across the spectrum have adopted this. About a month before these Modi images went live, there were pictures of India's chief opposition leader, Rahul Gandhi, the scion of the Congress party in some sense. His images in a fighter jet and him sort of carrying impoverished children or talking to farmers.
Wow.
Which constitutes a huge vote base for him. Those images were boosted on Facebook, not from official accounts, but proxies of these political parties. And they're a big hit, Malika, to be honest.
Well, they must be, because you're saying that we're seeing this use of AI across the board. So is it that political parties are seeing it being used and then think, this is working, we need to get on this?
Yeah, from all the reporting that I've witnessed, I dub it as the year of the AI experiments in some sense for these political parties. And what is most surprising is personalized voter outreach in the voice of local politicians, not political stalwarts like Modi or Rahul Gandhi, local politicians who you and I might not even be aware of.
My name is Shakti Singh. I really enjoyed meeting you.
They address the voter in person like, "Hi Malika, how are you doing? Please vote for me in the upcoming elections." So we've seen those kind of co-option of this AI tech happen.
After the break, the ethical implications of AI being used in the Indian elections and how it could act as a blueprint for elections around the world. So, Nilesh, let's talk about who's actually making this content. You call them deepfake service providers, which is really a lofty title there. There are companies and even individual freelancers who are working with political parties to make this content. I know that because you have interviewed some of them in the reporting that you've done. Can you describe their setups for us? Give us a little behind the scenes on who they are and how they operate.
So this is an individual who I came across in mid-2023. His name is Devendra Singh Jadon. He sits out of a second-tier town called Ajmer in the state of Rajasthan in the north. And the setup is 2 graphic processing units which you need to create these AI images and a huge monitor in front. And he's a balding dude with a thick black beard. He's previously worked with politicians. Now he's reinvented himself from a student leader to a tech guru amongst his peers. So the people who are coming in are politicians who come and sit in front of a green screen in a studio and they speak anything into the microphone. And then he starts shooting about 10 to 15 minutes of video. But you shouldn't be moving your head too much because those movements can break the algorithm. Because what he's eventually trying to do is take these input audio and video, clone them and send personalized messages and outreach to voters and government beneficiaries in the lead up to the elections.
So you're saying this is basically a clone of voices for now. This is what this particular content provider is doing. We know that India has 121 languages.
Yeah.
That's an estimate. There might be more. And so politicians then need to reach people in languages they probably don't speak. Do these AI tools help with that?
I think absolutely. I want to step back and give you context that it's memes and songs on Reels, Instagram Reels, that actually paved the way for this multilingual outreach in some sense. So sometime last year, there was voices of Modi being trained and cloned in multiple regional languages, and you could hear Modi sing in Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, and all these regional languages he doesn't speak. The context here is Modi's BJP is very strong in quote-unquote Hindi belt in the north, but in the south, his party has found it really hard to break in and propagate the Hindu nationalist sort of worldview. And one of the impediments for Modi and the BJP has been language, and since he cannot access these populations through these languages. But as soon as these local songs in Modi's voice began going viral, you suddenly had a certain normalization of Modi voice clones in regional languages happen.
Well, Nilesh, we know that misinformation can be a big problem in any election. And I know that it's been an issue in general in India in recent years with disinformation and misinformation spreading on social media and messaging platforms like WhatsApp.
An angry mob beat the innocent men. They were badly injured, and one of them was killed. All because false information spread via WhatsApp.
There have been a number of instances where mobs have lynched people based on false rumors about child abductions.
How have you seen that play out in the world of AI?
From the examples that we have seen so far, yes, there have been at least a dozen cases of illegal use of AI clones, including one in which Indian Bollywood star Amir Khan's voice was cloned by one of the Congress party affiliates, and he was heard endorsing the Congress. And then soon after the video went viral, there was a police case filed, and the police are currently investigating the creators of it and who spread this misinformation. But if you take a step back, Malika, and look at it, one of the biggest problems or threats that fact checkers felt was in a country that's already polarized, along religious lines. The introduction of this technology could supercharge communal hate-related content. And when fact-checkers prepared for it, forensic experts came in. We did not necessarily see that play out the way we all envisioned. Instead, the good old hate speech by the Prime Minister in one of his rallies was enough for communal hatred to spread. For instance, in one of Narendra Modi's recent rallies, he called Muslims infiltrators.
The earlier government said the Muslims will have the right over the resources of the country. What does this mean? This means they will gather all the wealth and give it to the people who have more children. They will distribute it among the infiltrators.
The Prime Minister's speech itself was enough to cause societal harm. We did not need the clutch or the excuse of AI for it.
So I want to look ahead to how the way AI is being used in this election might serve as a model for other elections globally. Do you think it's going to be used as a blueprint for people who want to influence elections across the world?
I absolutely see Indonesian service providers and Indian service providers angling for the extremely lucrative US market and others. So US should keep an eye out for these kinds of service providers entering the market, cloning senators' voices and doing outreach. I also witnessed, Malika, there has been two divergent adoptions of AI, where the US, after a fake AI robocall of President Biden addressing voters in the New Hampshire area to stay back home and not vote, went viral. They went out and the FCC clearly banned the creation of any AI-generated voice calls. However, on the contrary, India, you have almost over 50 million AI calls being made just in this election period.
Wow.
And AI electioneering, images, videos, audios, is almost a $60 million market opportunity for all these service providers. So we'll have to take country by country to how this works out.
And that's The Take. This episode was produced by Ashish Malhotra, Chloe K. Lee, and Sonia Bhagat, with Noor Wazwaz, Manahil Naveed, Catherine Nouhan, Tamara Kandakar, Saryed Khalili, Amy Walters, Khalid Sultan, David Enders, Zaina Badr, and me, Malika Bilal. Our sound designer is Alex Roldan. Alexandra Locke is The Take's executive producer, and Ney Alvarez is Al Jazeera's head of audio. We'll be back tomorrow.